Dan and I are continuing to sail Gecko up the Great Barrier Reef and towards the Torres Strait.
Wild dingoes, crocodiles. This is just another crocodile warning. Box jellies, irukandji, scarcely bigger than the size of a thumbnail. Both can be deadly to human beings. Common death adder. A snake can climb up your anchor chain and get into your bed. The stonefish, enormous pain and potential death.
In this episode, we leave the Flinders Island group and sail in 30 to 35 knot winds to our last destination before the Torres Strait.
It's gonna be another one of those suck it up passages.
It's super windy right now.
Super windy. This is a crazy amount of wind. I'm close hauled. Storm jib, tripper reefed main. Would not want to scrap more of sail up right now. We just got completely soaked in the cockpit and we're less than half a mile from the anchorage.
It would be a rolly night at anchor.
But I'm really tired. It's such full-on sailing. We have spent one night in the Flinders Island group and decided that there's not much to do here, so we're just gonna push and carry on until we get to a place where we do want to spend time. This is the group, so just in the context of Greater Australia, we are now here, working our way up to the Horn. We came in yesterday, first tried to anchor in here, and that was where it was just horrible.
What are we saying?
We are moving on from this anchorage. It's just, I think if there wasn't so much wind, we could anchor further out and it would be fine, but we'd have to anchor out here and it just feels really exposed. We did some really scary circles. This is where we almost went aground there, and there. Like very suddenly, and in 12 feet of water you still can't see the bottom, so I think there's probably a reason why everyone else anchors on the other side. And then this was where we wanted to go, but there were all those fires. Eyes up mountain.
Yeah.
On to the next. So then we ended up sailing around through the Owen Channel and anchored in Stokes Bay last night, and it was just, you know, classically more wind. So today we're sailing 110 miles north up to Restoration Island, which is the island where this guy lives by himself with his wild dingoes. And this sail, so there were kind of two options that Dan and I talked about, the inner and the outer. The inner option is 10 miles longer, more protected by the reef. You get a lot of reef, so probably not a ton of fetch, but not a straightforward sail at all. There's all these shoals and rocks, and basically we would just be zigzagging around all of this all night long, which doesn't really sound fun. The outer option, 10 miles shorter, but we're only protected by the outer reef, and of course it's blowing 25 to 30, so it's going to be way wavier, and then we have whole sections where there's gaps in the reef that are probably going to be kind of sketchy. But we decided on that one because it has a clear channel and it's just a bit more straightforward since we'll be sailing overnight. Pretty much the only part that I'm worried about is this pass that we have to go past. It's just so intense with the wind and the waves. Not a huge fan. Anyway, Restoration is up here, and then from there we're just very close to the top. It's another blustery day. I have prepared our two little beds while Dan's been lashing down the dinghy, and we're just gonna use the storm jib again because with the current it's just so nice. We go fast and we don't have to think about too much sail, and we're using the small wind vane paddle for the wind vane. Got thermos of tea going, and that's pretty much it. It's 12:15 now. We've been averaging 5 knots, so I'm assuming we'll do the same, so we'll get in around noon tomorrow. It's gonna be another one of those suck it up passages.
It's super windy right now.
Super windy.
Probably windier than when we got here, which is a bummer because this was protected when we got here.
Yeah, this was really nice and flat, and now it's a bit
Ready?
rolly.
Do wind tests by letting our hair down.
See how tangled it gets.
I just
More wildfires still, but that one seems like it's sort of gotten itself under control a bit.
Tis a tidbit windy. Woo! It's a great time to leave. Look at that boat spin. That's doing a get spin. We've got ourselves some.
My favorite treat, Mandarin segments.
Can you see an individual segment, please?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
These are nice when they start tornado freshies. We poured the juice off into a liter of water.
Orange juice, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty much orange. See, nothing but oranges, and it's a fact. Alright. Well, we are underway going 3.5 knots, but we're just still in the lee of the island.
Not as strong as the gusts in there too, right?
Yeah. No, it's gonna pick up. So basically we're curling around this island to head out to the reef. I think this is gonna be a bit more of a jostly passage, so we've secured more stuff this time around. It's already windy, as promised, just the storm sail up again, because why put up more sail when you don't have to? Maybe next anchorage we get to, there'll be less wind. That's what we say every time.
Anchorage.
Every anchorage. But I did check the forecast and it says that there's not less wind, so.
We lost our drogue in the last big swell, so we've decided to tie down the life raft. 50-50.
Okay, we've just put up the triple reefed main because right now we're close hauled trying to get around this reef before we can turn downwind into the channel. And you can get away with a lot more when you're going downwind, like just having a tiny sail up and letting the wind, waves, and current push you. But going close hauled into it, we're going only about 3 knots. And it's hard to make the tack angle. It's hand steering. It's pretty full on. And we have 5 miles to go. So it's just, yeah, I feel lucky that we're going with it most of the time, but it's the only little upwind bit that we have to do. Luckily the waves aren't too huge yet, because that could just make this even more miserable. But
what about changing plan and going below the island?
Well, then we're still gonna have to turn upwind.
At some point.
At some point, we're gonna have to do this sail tack angle. So I'd rather get it over with in the beginning.
Incredible backdrop. Though.
It's really pretty. Yeah, it's a nice day.
In there. That's sweet.
Yeah, it's a shame it's...
Huh?
Yeah, if it wasn't so windy, I feel like it would be...
Number 372, the hood peg.
It's true. If you don't have strings, get a clothespin. Crazy amount of wind. I'm close hauled, storm jib, triple reefed main. Would not want to scrap more of sail up right now. Hand steering because it's pretty gusty. Only less than 2 miles to go before we can turn off and be running with this a little bit. It feels like being in a wind tunnel. It's really crazy. It's probably blowing 30 right now. And the wind is just blowing all the spray from the waves into the cockpit. It's getting a bit wet out here. It's very exciting, and I'm also glad that it's not forever. It makes it easier to appreciate the excitement of it all. But yeah, it's pretty full on. This is quite a windy part of the world, I will say that. Or maybe we're just, I don't know, all the other boats are a bit behind us, and maybe this is why this might chill out at some point, but cruise fast. Just getting up over that reef there, and then we can turn off. Listen to her howl.
Crazy Holly at the helm.
Whee!
Thank God. Wow. It's pretty manic out here.
Yeah.
Woo! I'm so glad this isn't my watch.
You're gonna get sprayed by this next one.
Yeah, this one?
This one.
Woo! Crazy down here. I have turned onto course, sort of.
turned off the wind at least. It's 7 miles with the wind just aft of the beam, and then we get into the channel by the outer bit of the reef, and oh, big one. And then we've got everything directly behind us. Some big seas. So we've just turned onto course into the shipping lane, and as a welcome we have a ship. I've had to turn a little bit sooner than I wanted to, and we're passing the ship right next to a reef. You can actually see that huge marker there is the reef marker, and then the ship is there. But we are downwind, pulled out. I just left the whisker pole out on anchor because we were only staying a night, and it's nicer to set it up before you leave anyway. And it just makes it easy to just throw the sail out. We're way better balanced with the main and the head sail. We've got the triple reef and a little storm jib. It's just a lot less rolly, and the boat steers a better course, which is something that I knew when I didn't have the main up all those other times. But it's also kind of nice not having the main, because then you don't have to think about point of sail as much, because sometimes the main shadows the head sail and la 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 la. It's just a, I don't know, it's a trade-off. It depends what you want. The waves are actually not as bad as I thought they would be, and this is just gonna be us for the next 20 hours or so, maybe less. Really good see. There's that ship. Look at her. There's a turtle.
Big old turtle.
Hi, buddy.
What are you doing all the way out
here? It's rough out here. Look at him, just chilling.
He's looking for his son.
He went over that way. That's cool. So we're getting pretty overpowered. Anytime Gek is going downwind, maybe up to 6 knots, anything more than that, we're overpowered, and the wind vane is having a really hard time steering a straight course. We're kind of fishtailing all over the place. So we're gonna strike the main. So we're just gonna have the little stormy jibby up. And we're probably still gonna be going super fast, but not as out of control super fast.
So we're surrounded by reef, and we're making good speed, we're making good direction, so we're just gonna collapse the sail downwind as opposed to turning up into wind. The sail tied around her neck, harnessed in for safety reasons. Not really much more I can say about collapsing the sail, you just sort of collapse it.
Oh.
You're a little hooked on the spreader, love. Whoa. Glorious.
Yeah, it'll get off when.
Shooting directly into the sun. It's camera angle 101. Behind the sun, silhouetted. Ooh, maybe better. Maybe with the sun better.
Mainsail is down and the boat is doing way better. The wind vane's holding us in basically a straight course. It is a bit rollier, but only a small bit, which kind of is the same as when we were rounding up and rounding down a lot. And we're still going very fast. Averaging about 5 knots. So I'd say that's a win for sure. Hilariously, there's also a squall behind us, so now we don't really think about that. I feel like this engine is just like mercury. Maybe this thing over it. So yes, it always feels good when you reduce sail, and it was the right thing to do, and everything just feels more chill. But the fact that I only need the storm jib up means it's probably blowing 30 to 35 out here. Just another windy day. Although I will say, I was expecting there to be way bigger waves because we are right at the edge of the reef and it's ribbons with gaps in between the whole way up, and I thought it was just gonna be horrible, but the waves aren't really any different than they were when we were inside the reef. If anything, they might be slightly less because it's deeper out here. It was about 40 to 60 feet on the inside, and here it's about 100 feet. And I think it's making the waves less steep. So they're still the same size, but they're not breaking, and they're just a little bit gentler to ride, which is really nice. We're in the shipping channel again, so that means paying lots more attention. And that is pretty much all I have to report.
All kinds of trouble, you know what to do. I know you take care of yourself, but there's a box of 22s, and my pistol's always loaded, and another in the sock drawer, just in case they think I'm gone. Lord, I know I've done some evil in my time, but that don't mean there ain't no goodness in this evil heart of mine. And it don't mean that I can't see the light. So while I'm out here fighting this good fight, just keep the hog fire burning while I'm gone. I'll be back to fan the flame, it won't be long. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to, then I'm home.
Good morning. It's kind of a gray day, very uninspiring to be outside. Last night it was quite windy, on and off, all night long. And this morning it's just squally. 20 miles to go until we're in, which is very exciting. We're making amazing time as usual, current plus lots of wind. That's pretty much it. It's one of those mornings where you're like, why did I wake up to this? Oh right, because I have to sell my boat. Dan's cooking. Pot won't stay on the stove. On this tack, you have to hold it on because the grating is falling off.
It's all falling off, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And the handle fell off the pot. Slightly unrelated to the sailing, but...
The kettle occasionally falls off.
Handle occasionally falls off. We are approaching Restoration Island. This guy right here. Apparently, when the winds are higher than 20, it gets rolly, which they are, so we're prepared for that. And it kind of seems like we're just not gonna find a spot to rest our weary bones until we get to Thursday Island, which is still a ways away. Hopefully it's not too rolly in this anchorage, otherwise we'll only stay one night and then we're off again the next day, which is kind of exhausting. Fishing boat here. Lots of ship traffic. I would say we were doing 3-hour watches last night, which was really nice. We probably saw 2 ships per watch. We were just kind of hovering on the very outer edge of the channel, so it didn't really matter as much, but you'd have to pay a lot of attention. And it's just another squally windy day. We're approaching Restoration Island, and it doesn't look good for being able to anchor here. The only review on Navionics said that it got a bit rolly with winds that were 20 knots, and right now it's 25 to 30. I mean, we just got completely soaked in the cockpit and we're less than half a mile from the anchorage. So I'm not sure, we're gonna check it out, but I don't have super high hopes that it's gonna be a tenable anchorage, but we're gonna see. We're kind of just coming into the lee of the island now. It's still pretty, I can't even turn on the engine yet, even though we're not able to make our course, because you can't really point into the wind with just a storm jib. Close hauled, but the engine doesn't like to roll, and these are some pretty big waves still, so we'll see what happens. If it's not a good anchorage, we're just gonna have to keep going.
They're at least 2 meters in places, eh?
Yeah, they're pretty big. Oh, watch. Help.
Big old splasher, ain't he? It would be a rolly night at anchor. I think we're about to hit a line of flat, but I'm an optimist at heart.
Sails down, engine is on because we're now in the lee of the island, so it's all funky with the wind. What's that? Yeah, just don't dangle it because I think it'll smack in the roll. but you can get everything else ready. Yeah, we're gonna try anchoring. It's pretty rolly right now, as you can see. This would not be nice. Hopefully, as we get closer in to shore, this roll goes away. I mean, I'm already impressed at how much better it is. This is a tiny island. I definitely wasn't expecting this. What's that? Oh, a wreck. I mean, this is kind of shit, to be honest, but I'm really tired. It's such full-on sailing. It's just 25 to 30, gusting 35 every single time we go out with these big seas that break into the cockpit all the time, and it's just really intense. You know, we've had some really good moments in it, but it's just every time you go out, it's not that like joyful freedom of sailing. It's more of a grit your teeth sort of situation. So it'd be really nice to hang here. And Dave is this guy who lives on the island who I'd really love to meet. He seems like a very interesting fella, so hopefully it works out. We've anchored. It took us 2 tries to get the anchor to set. The first time it just dragged. I usually get the anchor on the first set, I would say. I do. I'd say about 97% of the time it just grabs on the first time, so it's kind of a rare occurrence when it doesn't. But the second time I just went a bit further over towards the sand, away from the rocks, and we've stuck in. It's a bit rolly, but honestly not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. You can definitely see the swell coming in, but for the most part the wind is kind of here, so it puts the swell in the quarter and doesn't roll the boat too much. This is Dave's house and his little island. We're gonna go in later to say hi, but right now we're kind of recovering. And is gonna do some fishing because we're in a yellow zone, which means no zone here. Oh, so no zone. Oh, even better. Catch us some dinner because I've decided I'm tired of canned food, so I require a fish. I kind of messed up before we left Port Douglas. That was kind of our last time with internet. We had it a bit in low islands, and then I knew I wasn't gonna have internet again until Thursday Island. I thought Thursday Island was the beginning of the Torres Strait, so I didn't bother to do any research on the currents or strategies or anything, because I thought I could do that once I got to Thursday Island. And I've only realized in the last couple of days that actually all the current kind of starts at Albany Passage, which is before Thursday Island. I'm gonna text my mom on the Garmin and ask her if she can find some current information for me, because what I do know about the Torres Strait is that it's a lot of current, and right now it's just 3 days after the full moon and it's blowing 30 knots, so we definitely don't want to get wind against current, so we're just gonna have to be really careful and time it out. And I think, like, there's a lot of hype about the Torres Strait, but I do think that it's mostly just, it's like a math problem. You just have to get the timing right and then you're okay. That's what I've decided, and I think it's true. So I was actually very luckily loaned this book by Peter, the guy whose pile moorings I stayed on in Port Douglas. Cruising the Coral Coast. It is from 2003. I found Albany Passage here, and basically all it does is say if you time it right, it's a really fast shortcut. It doesn't talk about anything else, so I'm assuming that it's good. Tides in Albany Passage can be fickle, but generally conform to the secondary port of Hannibal Island based on the standard port of Legat Island. But I don't know which tides provide which currents. I'm guessing incoming tide would do this, but I don't actually know. So there's another thing to pay attention to. And it talks a bit about it here, but not really in that much detail. It says don't anchor there, which is kind of a no-brainer. So that's what we're doing. Dan and I sort of chatted about it. I was trying to make him feel better by telling him that I don't think it's a big deal. He didn't realize it was a big deal in the first place. So that conversation went well. Anyway, I'll let you guys know what I find out. And I'm also looking at Navionics, what cruisers have written about anchorages that they've been in to kind of try to gauge something. I don't know, maybe some piece of information will be scattered about.
We had ourselves a live bait, jumped straight on the deck, which is really kind of him. I guess I want him to be swimming that way, right? Truth be told, I haven't got a clue how to
put it through the eyes, or the gills.
Is that just like a sadistic request, or is that actually
No, I
good
feel like
advice?
if you put it through the gills, it'll stick out the other end, and then
Oh no, that would be good.
yeah,
Yeah, okay, cool.
should it will and be good.
Maybe I'll close it a little bit.
So I'm just looking in the beginning of this book, and it's talking about the dangers in Australia. So they had wild dingoes,
Oh, it's huge fish boil.
crocodiles, fish boil, there.
It's coming closer. If they could come over, I've got my.
Oh
I
wow!
just got that dead fish. I can't even cast with.
I don't know if you can see through the camera, but there's a huge wheel of birds. Is that an expression? I feel like it is. All over there. And then here it talks about the poisonous fish, and it says there's over 15 types of sea snakes inhabit the Great Barrier Reef, all of which have very lethal venom. And
My fish has just been nibbled to death.
oh no, but the hook isn't eaten.
The hook is intact.
We saw, I forget if I mentioned this before, but when we were leaving Low Island, I saw probably a 12-foot sea snake. We were surfing down the backs of waves, and this thing was just swimming against them without even trying. And then this is just another crocodile warning. I guess they just disappear really easily. And then, of course, there's also the jellyfish warnings, because they have box jellies and irukandjis, box jellyfish. Tentacles growing up to 2 meters long. The irukandji is scarcely bigger than the size of a thumbnail. Both can be deadly to human beings. Not only do we have the box jellyfish, but there's also the stonefish. Like the death adder, lets the victim come to him. And if you step on it, it can kill you. Enormous pain and potential death. Okay, this is terrifying. Snakes aboard, very rare, but sometimes if you're in a river, a snake can climb up your anchor chain and get into your bed. And did you know that we sleep this far from the front of the boat? Ah! That's so scary. Imagine being asleep and a huge poisonous snake slithers into bed with you. Actually, Roald Dahl wrote a short story about that. Thanks for watching this week's video. I put out new videos every 2 weeks on YouTube, and for my patrons, you guys get a snack on the weeks that I don't put out a full-length YouTube episode. If you'd like to join my Patreon, it is patreon.com/windhippie, and thank you so much to all of my patrons who are supporting me and making my trip possible. For one-time donations, I have a PayPal, paypal.me/windhippie, and when you join my Patreon, you get snacks on the weeks that I don't put out a full-length YouTube episode, exclusive to Patreon snacks that are anything from requests to real-time updates of the things that I'm doing and where I currently am in the world, since my footage lags behind and my life has actually changed a lot since this video was filmed. I love your comments. I love reading them, so thank you for those. They're really great. Thank you for all the love on the last video. And to the one person who told me that he noticed that it was actually all the same person dressed in different outfits, thanks for giving it away to the rest of the world, sir. I was trying to keep that a secret. Thank you, Tish, for reminding me when I need to do these uploads and helping me get them scheduled on YouTube. Vimeo is actually banned in Indonesia, and my Patreon videos go through that platform. So I upload my finished edited product to Dropbox, and then she puts them on there for me. I have merchandise all in the links below. I am thinking about making a new design for Hippie sailing, so let me know if you think you would buy a shirt with a cool new design on it. And I think that's it. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks on YouTube, and patrons, I'll see you guys next week with a snack.